What is up, Midnight Strikers? I am back with a brand new video, and it is Friday once again, so that means we get to continue on with the Disturbed discography, and this is where it gets good, folks. Yes, that's right, I'm going to be reviewing their 2008 entry, their fourth studio album, Indestructible, which might honestly be my favorite Disturbed release yet. Yeah, I like the sickness, I like the aggression and the intensity on that, but this album takes it to a whole new level. I can't decide between this and Asylum whether or not that's my favorite, but right about now I am loving the shit out of this studio album right here. I mean, look at the cover. I remember being in high school. I remember actually ending my freshman year in high school and thinking, damn, Disturbed's new album looks amazing. Look at that cover art. Listen to Inside the Fire. You know, listen to Perfect Insanity. It's just perfect. That's pretty much what this album is, or was to me back then, with the exception of a few songs. Back then I didn't really care much for Criminal. Really like it now. I still don't really care much for Torn. It's a little bit too slow for my taste, but it does bring out the variation in the structures of this album. There's a lot of variation. There's a lot of different things that they did right with this album. Not too many things that they need to improve on, but the things that they did need to improve on, they did improve on their next studio release, Asylum. But for all intents and purposes, we are here to talk about Indestructible, so let's get to it. Basically, as I said before, that 10,000 Fists was the ultimate hybrid of two badass Disturbed albums, or at least one badass Disturbed album and one that's a little bit less than. The Sickness and Believe. Basically, it took the Sickness's heaviness factor and aggression and intensity and combined it with the melodies of Believe. Now, this basically takes that to a whole nother level, taking more influence from the Sickness than ever, but adding a heavy metal twist to it. No, it's not new metal, it's heavy metal. It's almost in your face, balls out, heaviest thing you've ever heard from Disturbed. By far, hands down, bar none, the heaviest Disturbed album ever made, ever witnessed, basically, that they've ever done. So there's 14 tracks on here, including the bonus tracks, Run and Parasite, which are all epic tracks. David Draymond definitely sings very high on Run. He sings very highly, I should say, in a higher regiment than what we're used to. Then on the other songs, he has this demonic layered growl on this album that hadn't been seen until this point. Now he uses it all the time, but this is the start of that. Such songs as Indestructible and Inside the Fire, Facade. I mean, you've got all these different songs that have this demonic sound to it. And of course, David Draymond brings back the old kind of darkness style vocals that he had on Believe, where he sings very softly in certain parts. That just brings up the melodic nature of this album even more so. Now, getting into the lyrics, this album's lyricism ranges from being locked up in a mental institution, to watching your girlfriend commit suicide and being tempted to do it yourself by the devil. And their Indestructible is about basically pumping up the soldiers for war, and Facade is about a failed relationship, and it's just everything on here is very dark and twisted and just really, really good, actually. Two of the songs, actually, Divide and Perfect Insanity, were actually from the Sickness era. Basically, Dan Donegan came up with the idea to David Draymond, hey, let's take some songs from the Sickness era and rewrite them and tweak them a little bit to make it sound like it fits with our current era. Kind of update it, if you will. Now, Perfect Insanity was already recorded back in, I believe, 1998 or so. I'm not entirely sure. Before the Sickness. It said it was pre-Sickness, but it was released in 2002 on a documentary called MOL, standing for Meaning of Life. Now, when I listened to this song, I wasn't too impressed, but I did enjoy hearing the origins of one of my favorite songs on this album, because honestly, I lost my mind listening to this song on an Indestructible. Pun intended. It is that good of a song. Just the blaring heaviness and aggression and everything. The solo is in the perfect spot. This is pretty much the best song on the album, with the exception of maybe Inside the Fire, which the lyricism on this song is bar none probably the best lyrics they've ever written up to this point. And that definitely shines with these two songs, probably my favorite songs. And of course, they chose absolutely right when making the singles for this album. These were the two singles, were Inside the Fire and Perfect Insanity. So it pretty much showcases the vast variation and aggression that is present and prevalent on this release. Indestructible, right here, you get a 9.6 out of 10 from me. Well, actually, yeah, 9.6. Awesome release, amazing heaviness, and it's just a really great album overall. So, with that, thank you very much for watching. I am Midnight Strike 3625. Keep calm and rock on.